things are made from one, and in the end, all things return to one.
In other words, one is all.
Indeed, and all is one as well.
All is ultimately of the one. So if all is not included in the one, then all is nothing.
You have passed.
Peace. Now's the vibrate. Y'all know what it is. Energetically sensitive people. This message is for you. To the energetically sensitive people, not only energetically sensitive, but also who embody the understanding that, or more so the understanding and knowing that things start within first and foremost, and it's not external people that control you, but it's you that controls you. And we say you for lack of a better word, because people would try to bring that into a discussion of, whether you consider your ego you or the source within you, but you from the essence of your being in your bodysuit, from your perspective. But anyway, energetic, sensitive beings who understand that they create their experience and that nothing externally, controls your experience. I'm speaking to you because there is a unique nuance of the experience that most don't really explain. And, it's kind of like one of those things where if I don't see or hear nobody kind of go into the depths of it, I'll share because, feel like it could be useful, and I like talking about stuff like this. First and foremost, I like talking about stuff like this, and it could be useful to somebody upon their journey. But give me 1 second, let me sit down here. But when you're super energetically sensitive, and let me put that into words, you're so sensitive to energy that if, let's just say, and it to not bring it too much into a fear-mongering spooky realm, but still like the actuality of it, I think about Voldemort and Harry Potter. Now of course with these characters and stuff, different archetypes get switched around and all that, but just the essence of how Harry Potter could sense Voldemort, and how whenever Voldemort was like focused on Harry Potter, or just the fact that he had that focus on Harry Potter, it kind of they had like a connection. It would almost like Harry Potter would almost feel like he's Voldemort. You know what I'm saying? So that's the part to keep in mind, that some of us are so sensitive to energy. And this is not to be like, oh, I'm a victim, I'm so sensitive to energy. No, we're not doing that. Just the factual, understanding of it. Some are so sensitive to energy that, let's just say, if Jeffrey Dahmer was focused on you, get a little dark without the imagery, and all of a sudden, you're so sensitive that you would start to have urges or feel like, like you're Jeffrey Dahmer. And let's tone it down a little bit. Because I feel like that was, sometimes those like those extremes to bring it in perspective, but let's bring in a one that everybody will probably enjoy. Not everybody, but Michael Jordan. Let's say Michael Jordan knows of you and focuses on you, and not that Michael Jordan is near you, because again, when you're so psychically sensitive, you could pick up on whether somebody's focused on you, because again, in essence, the separation is an illusion, hence why Reiki works long distance and why they got long distance Reiki workers. But Michael Jordan focused on your energy, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're like the greatest basketball player ever, or like you could go, like you feel the urge to want to go shoot hoops, you know what I'm saying? And then when you go to, to go to the basketball court, you also feel like nobody could beat you, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're that sensitive, you could pick up on somebody's energy, that strongly. And you could go check out the video I did about summoning and signaling. It kind of goes into that as well, on some levels, you know what I'm saying? You'll see what I'm talking about when you watch that video. But when you're so sensitive to energy, somebody focused on you could, if you're unaware and ungrounded, that's the key. That's why grounding is so important, and knowing ourselves to the fullest be so important, because you could know, like, all right, this is out of, this ain't in my nature to want to eat some raw meat out of the blue when I'm mostly vegetarian. You feel me? Like, you'll know you're picking up on something. That's what it's for, as far as like the inner knowledge, the inner knowing. It's so like when you pick up on certain things psychically because you're energetically sensitive, or quote unquote empaths, but I just use the word energetically sensitive because when people hear the word empath, I feel like it puts a certain label that may, miss the mark. So let's just say, again, psychically sensitive or just very sensitive energetically to things. You pick up on that energy, and if you're not aware, you'll feel like, like that energy, or like doing some of the things that person who's focused on you does. Now, let's say that, and reason why I'm bringing this up is because it could cause like a lot of like inner conflict, because in one sense you like, man, I'm creating my reality, so I want to stand in that responsible space of like not blaming nobody for what I'm feeling right now, or these urges that I'm getting that I know is not me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this is not my unique energy, that has this urge to want to do this thing or think like this and, do whatever. I know this not me, but at the same time, again, I'm not wanting to give my power externally to anything, and not just because I don't want to, but because I know for a fact that I am creating my experience. And nothing has control over me. But why is it that it feels like when, Michael Jordan, for example, focuses on me, like I just have this strong urge to want to go play basketball and shoot hoops, and think I'm the best, you know what I'm saying? Now, this is the light-hearted perspective of it. Now, think of it when you're dealing with a situation where somebody who you thought was cool, somebody who you thought was, 100% trustworthy and in alignment for you. Imagine that you had a relationship with them and even, got some emotions along the way, but then when your wishful thinking and ignorance started to wear out, you had no choice but to acknowledge that it was something subtly funny about, being with this person or dealing with them. You remove yourself from that relationship because you realize, like, all right, something is off, you know what I'm saying? Like, either they subtly wishing upon my downfall, they're subtly jealous or envious, they subtly want to harm me, whatever the case may be, But, you remove yourself, and then all of a sudden, you catch the urge to want to do things that are very harmful or sabotaging to yourself. You know, instead of being confident in what you do and just standing on it, like, man, I do this, not being egoic, but like you confident in whatever it is that you do, but then all of a sudden, like you feeling like I ain't shit. Like I need to stop doing what I'm doing, like you're getting feelings and thoughts like that. Knowing yourself. Knowing that you're not normally like you didn't make it this far in your journey from being that pessimistic or that sabotaging. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, the whole reason why you're energetically sensitive and know about certain esoteric things is because you changed your life and started doing healthier things, you know what I'm saying, and look to do things that are helpful more than harmful to yourself. So why is it that in certain moments you feel like harming yourself in certain ways, or sabotaging yourself or thinking negative or being pessimistic about things, a big project, you wrote out all the plans and everything, but then, all of a sudden you might feel like, oh no, something's wrong with that. When you wrote out the plan clearly and it's on point and it's gonna work, you just got that knowing, about it. So full circle is like, when you're sensitive to energy and that type of person focuses on you, it's pretty tough. It could feel pretty tough, let's say it like that, to maintain that awareness of, hey, it's all me, but yet, it feels like someone else is, a part of this equation, you feel me? And the best way to maneuver through it, well, first off, following your intuition, making yourself clear and using whatever spiritual practices help for you to clearly be in tune with your intuition. Most would say meditation, but that meditation will look different for different people. Most people can clear their minds by doing more than sitting in a lotus, doing breathing techniques, but, to each his own on that. But first I would say, again, get in tune with your intuition. But speaking from the perspective of, knowing that it's all you first and foremost. And this is where the paradox, the understanding of the paradox of this realm, has to be established in the essence of you would have to embody the awareness of knowing that both are true instead of asking yourself, well, which one is it? Am I creating my reality? Because that's where things start to, that's just that one moment of asking yourself whether you are creating your reality or not. That's what could just throw everything. That's that one little cut that would try to lead to the 1,000 cuts, where it's like little small cuts piece by piece to, what I'm saying, to your whole aura and energy just all leaking out. You feel me? Where you just filled with doubt, what I'm saying, because you that one small cut or that one small moment of doubt. But it's for you to embrace the paradox of that it is both. And not just trying to find out whether it's either or. That's the key. Listen to that. Don't try to figure out whether it's either this or that, because that comes from the toxic duality programming of just looking at it through the lens of just individual. This is a paradoxical realm. It's individual and everything is interconnected. You feel me? You know, source is a cockroach and a parasite just as much as it's, you know what I'm saying, the highest of the high, the holiest of the holy, the most omnipresent and infinite, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all of that. But in the experience, you know, you have to understand that it's a balance and not trying to separate the experience into, you know, dual compartments. You know, it reminds me of the MF Doom verse off of the song I'ma Do Great Things, where he was like something about getting caught in duality, you drain your whole battery. You know, and I laugh a little bit, but that's real, you know, in the sense of, you know, finding a way to constantly, you know, affirm and assure yourself that both are true, but starting within first. That's the thing, though. That's what I will say, though. The inner perspective first and foremost, but then the second perspective is true as well, you know. So it's you creating your experience, and then there's something external or someone external that's focusing on your energy, and because you're sensitive, you feeling this sense of envy and jealousy, but it translates within you to you, you know, sabotaging or doubting yourself or feeling sad or feeling like you shouldn't be great because somebody else jealous of you being great, you know what I'm saying, in essence. So you kind of doubt yourself and feel this kind of way. So it starts with you first. And secondly, it's also somebody externally as well. You feel me? But ultimately, what happens is, you know, for where it starts off with you first is knowing yourself to the fullest, taking care of your auric field or energetic body hygiene. So meaning doing whatever it is that's helpful to, you know, cleanse your aura, to heal and repair your aura, you know, like, so doing exercises, you know, whether that's grounding a lot, whether that's visualizing, using your imagination to visualize your certain chakras that you realize you had a leak in. You visualize those chakras being patched up, you know what I'm saying? Working with certain crystals, you know, to name a few things, you know what I'm saying? But you first do, you know, that. Again, like, understand yourself to the fullest, take care of your hygiene. And when I say, if I said take care of yourself to the fullest, I meant to say know yourself to the fullest. And also to come back around to knowing yourself to the fullest, then that would also require you to know what triggers you, and in essence know yourself to the fullest, to the point that when that person focuses on you, you instantly realize, like, all right, this that moment where this energy is focused on me, you know. Instead of going right into the sabotaging behavior, you kind of stop, you know. And in that moment, you know, just by being aware and acknowledging it, you're creating space for you to respond in a healthy manner instead of just being triggered to react. Because again, it's all you. So yeah, secondly, they focusing on you with that negativity and all that. But for one, again, it's tough for that to even affect you when your auric field is, you know, strong and fortified. Plus, when you know yourself to the fullest and you know that, all right, don't be triggered by picking up on this energy, you feel me? You know, that creates, oh, and also to add to that, you know, again, remaining unjudgmental and not getting into that dual mind frame, you know, like where you understand, like, yes, this this person's types of thoughts that they're, when they're focusing on me and their energy, yes, it's a negative vibe, but I don't judge them. Doesn't mean like I'm like, oh, passive. Like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't, not judging is not being passive. Like when you're not judging, you're just choosing to not judge this is all good or all bad. And that's what I mean when I'm saying not judging. I don't, other people, the English language and how that go and how, you can have 50 definitions for one word. Don't judge it as good or bad, right or wrong. And that kind of keeps you in that wholeness of the paradox of like, yes, I know that this is not my unique energy that's coming up. At the same time, I'm not going to judge it as something all bad, and I'll even see it as something that, is helping me to get to know myself even better. Because if that situation wasn't popping off, I wouldn't have the challenge of having to be aware of myself. Now, sometimes that energy, like having that awareness, could feel like you're just trying to like give excuses or like, again, playing passive. But again, if you want to overcome it without getting yourself into some deeper karmic shit, which for the most part, anybody will tell you that it feels better, no matter whether it's a person that's more darker, more lighter, as far as their temperament and their spiritual practices. Any and all of them will tell you, like it feels best to, remove yourself, or again, we call it like, removing these ancestral, karmic curses or karmic, cycles of repetition, you know what I'm saying? But it's healthy to remove yourself from that karmic cycle instead of continuing it or making it worse and, bringing yourself even deeper into it, which would look like you like, oh yeah, man, this person, is them, they're all bad, and I keep feeling like this because of them. And like once you go all deep into that, into the dual aspect of it, that brings your vibration into a more distorted energy, a distorted vibration or frequency, so to speak. You tuning into that radio station which is distorted. And so, and I even say radio station, you're tuned into a dimensional world of distortion. So that means, again, we're multidimensional. You tap into that vibration of distortion, then you're going to be present with all the other beings that's in Distortionville, And again, this is a multidimensional experience. So although when we say, you go into a different world or different dimension, it don't necessarily mean like, oh, everything looks completely different. No, everybody could be in the same grocery store, in the same line, with the same cashier, but all be in different little dimensions and worlds. You know what I'm saying? But not getting too deep into that, just bringing it back to the fact that, you don't want to tune into distortion world, Distortionville, and bring yourself even more into that distorted vibration. Again, not judging, maintaining the fact that it starts with you first. You know what I'm saying? Understanding yourself to the fullest. And let me not go back because I already named them anyway. But, it's about, again, bringing it full circle to that space of knowing that it's both. You creating your experience and you feeling somebody else's energy externally. and not trying to say it's one or the other. Because again, that nuance, once you start to question whether you're creating your experience or not, that even brings you more into confusion about the situation. In which, in some cases, that's also the reason why, a certain person may focus on you with that type of energy. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just doing anything to try to slow you down, confuse you, and prevent you from, being great and doing whatever it is that they may be jealous of. You feel me? And again, the compassion with discernment. Like, you're compassionate, but you're not going to let nobody, mess over you either. You feel me? Like, I'm not going to make myself feel sad because somebody else can't handle, me enjoying myself or being the best version of myself. That's not going to happen. It's like, where does that ever make sense? You feel me? So, just remember to not split it into dual nature of, trying to figure it out from the perspective of, well, is it them affecting me, or is it me creating my reality? It's you creating your reality, and it's their energy, focused on you in that type of manner. Because what I realize, is that, in some cases, you could pick up on energies just by somebody thinking about you. Just by somebody, again, thinking about you, focusing on you in some type of way, you may have seen it, again, like just that simple notion of, you thought of somebody, and then their type of habits, like all of a sudden you catch the urge to want to do a certain person, habits. Now they not now here's a difference in that, like they're not purposely trying to focus on you with no envious or harmful energies. They're just being themselves and thinking about you. And even with that being said, though, like, you might feel like thoughts or just see energy signatures, and in some cases it might not be that strong. You just might pick up on things in your experience where certain people might look like that person, or you might see a car like that person drives. I spoke on stuff like that, but you pick up on the energetic signature of this person when they're focusing and thinking about you. Like all of a sudden, you feeling like, I wonder what so-and-so is up to, or, oh man, I really feel like going to the beach right now, and then phone ring, and it's so-and-so who live right by the beach. You feel me? So and again, check out the summoning and signaling video accompanied with what I'm speaking on right now. And of course, there's other videos where I talk about like telepathic nuances or energetic nuances, or I do have a playlist called telepathy as well. But, it's like, understanding that dynamic without getting lost in the duality of it, and not trying to separate the experience. Like, again, it's you creating and you feeling somebody else's energy. So we're not going to make this a long drawn out video, because again, you accompany this with other videos I did, especially the one I referenced, and you'll get the picture. Because if you're watching this, if you resonate on any type of level with what I'm saying, and for the most part you this far, then you would, grasp what I'm speaking on without me having to just make it a 2-hour video. You feel me? So, for those who are unique, or should I say for those who are sensitive, very, very sensitive to energy, to the point, well, when somebody, thinks about you, focuses on your energy, or or they may feel anger or something, but it's some type of emotion towards you, coming from that person. And yet at the same time, that everything is interconnected, and that you are the creator of your experience. And again, you get into that space of like, well, stop right there. If anything, don't question whether you are creating your experience or not. And no, you're not the dictator of the whole realm, creating everybody's experience for them, but you're definitely creating your experience, And some may say the whole destiny thing, and it's all written. You still acting it out. You still got the power to respond instead of react. You know what I'm saying? So don't just like, oh, I'm just floating and surrendering, you know what I'm saying? Because even that gets tricky when it comes to surrendering, and how that could also, if you're not careful, you'll take it as to float around and be aimless in your experience. Now, again, knowing yourself, unless being aimless and wandering feels great to you, that's different. You know what I'm saying? If wandering and floating and basically just being at the whim of everything else in the experience, if that feels great for you, then definitely ignore this message, or this message is not for you. But again, as soon as you go to wanting to even consider, and again, before you even consider, like, well, am I, like, no, like, you are creating your experience, and you're not, again, and on top of that, with the paradox of it, and you're not tripping. Yes, this external person, place, or thing, has this feeling or this energy, and you're feeling that too, So, just take care of the things that I mentioned, as far as not judging, not separating the situation, as I'm saying now, like, again, it's both things are true. Taking care of your hygiene, you know what I'm saying, as far as spiritually, physically, remaining unjudgmental and compassionate, but with discernment, you know what I'm saying? And, knowing yourself so well that like, all right, this energy is not necessarily, my unique energy. Yeah, everything interconnected, but it's not my unique energy that I'm sensing and picking up on right now. And to also, again, be aware of how it triggers you. Because some of us, like, once we pick up on the fact that, all right, it's somebody that's focusing on us, and it's causing this energy of, like, it just feels like it's something like muddling, or like trying to fog up your aura, in essence. And that's also connected to the spleen chakra. And, when they talk about, energetic latches within the spleen chakra, and why you may become angry is because you're frustrated, because you could sense that something is like peering into your energy field, you know what I'm saying? And especially for those of us who, again, don't like no type of confusion, or, just don't like that shit, But that's the thing, and that's where it could be tough for those of us who, have like that kind of reactive anger, to want to just react and do something off of the whim of the emotion in the moment. Because again, you think it feels good to just react like that off of your anger, but you're being even more controlled in that moment. Like, again, be aware of the trigger coming up, and then, you can respond by continuously just working on something that you have so much clarity on that, you can't be stopped in that area, you know what I'm saying? like to kind of ground yourself into your energy, you feel me? Or take a moment to step outside and ground, or just, slow things down to make sure that you're not acting with a mixed energy, in the sense of like, even though it's not your energy and you're grounded and you know what I'm saying, you're on point, it still may feel like it's, like a mixed energy. So just slow things down, because again, the more you do these things and the more you're detached from this connection, the more you respond instead of react to this connection, the less it will be felt on that type of level, the less it will be able to have that type of, quote unquote adverse effect on you. You know what I'm saying? Again, it could have an adverse effect on you, while also the fact that you are creating your experience. So it's not that that person, place, or thing is controlling you, but it's the fact that both as you're creating your experience, you could also feel certain things externally. You know what I'm saying? So just wanted to share that. Now is to vibrate. Take care of yourself. Don't sabotage yourself due to others not, being able to handle you living a life you enjoy, or being confident in yourself. Like, do you. You're not harming anybody by doing you. Your inner being and intuition would never fearmonger you or threaten your, existence from you being the best you. So you would automatically know that's not, your intuition, and not to listen to that. Peace. Now is to vibrate.